Good afternoon, Cedar Park. It's Friday, May 8th, and I'm Ellen Neal.
And I'm Evan Vines. We have a fantastic show today that we are very excited to share.
For a fresh quarantine Wolfcast, you're going to see a story on how COVID-19 is affecting mental health, a new district decisions, a state of the Sloan,
A new edition of the Pack Chat, end of year hype video, and a new segment called Mindfulness Minute.
Let's jump in because the Wolfcast starts now. Many people have not been feeling like themselves during these isolated times.
And it is common as well as normal for people to have mental health issues. Gigi Munez has more information on this.
Thanks, guys. It is natural for people to feel stressed, anxious, or depressed when their lives go through major changes like this COVID-19 pandemic.
It is not natural to feel happy and the way you always feel, because this is not a normal situation.
It is recommended that people follow a routine and do the activities they like.
Finding things that make you happy. We're isolated in a sense, even though we have phones and videos and things. It's not like a face-to-face interactions with your peers. But I think connecting with peers and making sure you're staying connected.
That will help you go through this quarantine much, much better if you are in a chaotic situation.
Physicians recommend that when a person feels overwhelmed, they should write their thoughts in a journal, meditate, or do activities they like to distract themselves.
Thoughts make you go to the future and this hypothetical thing that can never happen. And this is the thing you have to cut off.
Communication is very important for a person's mental health.
Reach out to someone that you trust. I feel like that's the closest, the best thing that you can do, because that person, if that person is most concerned about you, and that person can reach out for you.
The Cedar Park counselors work with students to help them deal with their problems.
So we ask our teachers to let us know if they are hearing from a student, not just about maybe something they say about their mental health, but because those are some really obvious things. But just things like, hey, can you check on so and so? The teachers we rely on quite a bit, because they are the people who speak with our students the most.
What is negative for some may be positive for some others.
Finding is that some students are thriving in this environment where school may have been the stressor. So in some ways it's taken off some of that for them. So we're seeing maybe a little bit more engagement from those students who might have been coming to school but felt anxious, or were worried about academics all of the time. And so some of that has been made a little bit easier by the way that the district has rolled out the Pass and Complete.
If a person is having a problem, it's important for them to talk about it, because someone will always be there to listen and help.
Reach out to others to stay connected and do activities you enjoy to stay sane.
Thanks, Gigi. Now let's hear from Katie Smith, who has an update on our district decisions. Katie?
Thanks, guys. First up, if you were taking any AP exams this year, make sure to check your email for a full list of testing dates and your AP ID. Also, make sure to run any exam demos prior to testing day. Next up, if you left any items on campus prior to closing, there will be a day at some point this month in which you can pick these items up. This will also include returning textbooks and library books. Finally, while no final decisions have been made as to what the 2020-2021 school year will look like, Governor Greg Abbott has begun working on solutions in order to continue educating while still keeping everyone safe. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. With CPHS News, I'm Katie Smith. Back to y'all.
Thanks, Katie. Now let's throw it over to Principal Sloan, who has another update for all of our CPHS.
All right, thank you, Ella and Evan. And I want to start by congratulating our Wolfcast and our school newspaper on their recent accolades for being ranked #1 in the state of Texas we've known this group of kids, and our directors are incredible and do an incredible job at supporting our school with their journalism. But it's nice to get that affirmation and be recognized at the state level, both being recognized as the best in the state. Great job. We are CP proud of you guys. And it's Teacher Appreciation Week, so have you thanked a teacher this week? Reach out to your teachers, let them know how much you appreciate all they do to support you while they're dealing with their families and everything else during this time. So please, this is the last day of Teacher Appreciation Week. You can always appreciate your teachers, but let them know. Reach out and let them know how much you appreciate all that they've done to help you to get through, especially during this time. So with that, we have 3 weeks of school left in the 1920 school year. Clear up those I's. If you have I's incompletes at the end of the school year, then it is going to require credit recovery, summer school, different things that make it harder. So if you have I's, make sure you're communicating with your teachers right now. Get it taken care of and be done with it. And next thing coming up is if you need something from the school, have you left something behind that you need to get from the school, you'll have an opportunity during May 18th to the 22nd. You won't be allowed to get in the school, but we'll be able to retrieve it for you. So be looking out for communication from your coaches, your directors, and Mr. Rogers about that opportunity. And that will also be a time when some collections are being made from your coaches and directors for equipment that needs to come back to the school. Seniors will be returning Lenovo's and textbooks on the 27th. So at the end of the school year, near the last day, and underclassmen are going to hang on to Lenovo's and textbooks until next year. So with that, my closing thoughts for today are that I'm reminded as educators, especially during a time like this, our job is not to prepare you for something, it's to help you prepare yourself so that you can do anything. And you're doing a great job with that in overcoming adversity and being flexible and figuring out how to navigate your way through this situation. So lots of life lessons to be had during this time. You're doing a great job with it. Keep it up. Go Wolves.
Thanks, Mr. Sloan. You may be wondering what the top 3 positive stories are for today. Here's reporter Amelia Caza to brighten your day. Amelia.
Hello Cedar Park, I'm Amelia Caza, and here are your 3 good things for this week. First, Nike has donated 30,000 shoes they have designed exclusively for healthcare workers. The company is also sending more than 100,000 additional apparel items, including compression socks and sportswear kits. As a thank you to frontline workers, Nike's nonprofit partner Good360 will distribute the shoes to workers in U.S. veterans hospitals, as well as hard-hit health systems in Chicago, Los Angeles, Memphis, and New York City. Next, for the first time, the entire lunar surface has been completely mapped and uniformly classified by scientists from the United States Geological Survey in collaboration with NASA and the Lunar Planetary Institute. To create the new digital map, scientists use information from 6 Apollo-era regional maps, along with updated information from recent satellite missions to the moon. Finally, therapy alpacas are visiting elderly people through a window during lockdown in California. As well as cheering up the residents, the healthcare workers at the center enjoyed taking selfies by the window with Kronk and Cusco. The visit was such a success that Helen Woodward Animal Center is planning a follow-up stop and additional visits to other facilities. That's all we have for today with CPHS News. I'm Amelia Caza.
Thanks for the good news, Amelia. Coming up next is a new edition of the Pack Chat and your Pet of the Week. All of this after a word from our sponsor.
Smoky Moe's Barbecue, the best barbecue that money can buy. Proudly supporting Cedar Park High School.
Good afternoon, Cedar Park, and welcome back to our opinion segment, The Pack Chat. I'm Ellie Neal, and I'm joined today by co-host Addie Bates and guests Preston Scott and Luke Johnson. We would love to know what your thoughts are on today's show, so head over to our Insta story at CPHS News to let us know what your thoughts are. With that being said, let's get started with our first trending topic of the morning. Earlier this week at the Park Commons Ford Ranch, there has been a release video of a park ranger getting pushed into the water after telling kids to keep their distance from each other. While the majority of the crowd can be heard saying respectful things like, "Yes, sir," and "We've got you, man," one 25-year-old man named Brandon Hicks pushed the park ranger in the water. He was arrested and could face a lot of time in jail. What do y'all think about this? Is he maybe just a guy under the influence? Or do you think with all these protests recently, we could start to see this become our new normal?
So here's my whole deal on this. Like, I get it. We're in quarantine, so we've just been let out. Like, they've released like the stay at home orders. Now I get it. There's like been a lot of stress, a lot of like buildup and all that kind of stuff. So maybe he didn't mean it in the moment, but I mean, I want to say he regretted it, but I saw his mugshot and he was
I saw it too. And he has the biggest smile on his face. And I was like, okay.
He's doing stupid things right now.
Exactly, but I do feel like it was kind of, I mean, just thinking about that situation, I'm like, I feel like it kind of has to be like an in the moment type of thing. Like, I'm like, I feel like, let's say this kid or this man, I mean, he's 25, let's say he was completely sober. I don't think that we would have seen those actions, especially because if you watch the video, the park ranger is being so nice. I mean, you can tell that there's so many kids there underage drinking and whatnot, but all he wants is just for them to like, just, you know, scoot a little bit apart. And like I said, like the majority of the people were being so respectful. They're being so nice about it. And so I just feel so bad for him. Like, I'm just like especially because he was a park ranger. And also I'm like wondering if would we have seen the same reaction if it was a police officer instead of a park ranger, even though on like the level of like how long you'd go to jail for assaulting one, they're about the same. Like, it's still like a public servant that was pushed in the water. But
it probably would have been awful if it was a police officer. Just on the spot, it would have been way worse.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like assault of a city official, so there's no other way to sugarcoat it.
But going back to what I said earlier about how I'm curious about to see like how this might play out for our future. As you guys have all seen, you know, there's been these protests recently, and in the protests, like, these people are getting very, very close to police officers' faces. And so I'm just wondering, do you think that this will be the last that we will see of an incident like this, or do you think that we could honestly expect more?
My neighbor said something about a couple months ago, and it was like this, like, I don't know, I think about it all the time. It's like, try telling Americans they can't do something for like 2 weeks. A lot of people don't like being told like what to do and stuff like that. So I think this is just like a backlash kind of thing. Like when he's saying be safe and all that kind of stuff, people are like, well, I'm not here to have fun. Like, don't tell me what to do kind of thing. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure we'll see more of this. I mean, we see this kind of stuff. I mean, when we're all, like I said, like we're all stuck in our house all the time, people don't like that. So I'm sure we'll see like more of this.
Yeah.
Awesome. Next, in February, an unarmed Georgia man named Ahmaud Arbery was jogging in a neighborhood when two neighbors named Gregory McMichael and his son Travis decided to grab their shotgun and chase after Arbery. They did this because they thought Ahmaud Arbery looked like the suspect of someone who's been breaking into people's houses there recently. The duo shot Arbery twice, and now the video of the incident has been released. McMichael, the one that shot Arbery, claimed that Arbery tried to get the gun away from the son and therefore he was shot in self-defense. No charges were filed when the incident first happened, but now with this video out, a lot of people are calling for justice. What do you guys think about this?
Okay, I have a lot to say about this. I'm going to start off with something. So 2020 is going to mark 65 years since the lynching of Emmett Till, which for those who don't know, Emmett Till was a 50-year-old African-American teenager who visited his family in Mississippi and was brutally beaten and murdered because he catcalled at a white woman, which I can't emphasize this enough. Decades later, she said that was untrue.
It's a lie, yeah.
This up is that it's 2020, and the idea that a man can't peacefully go on a jog like without living in fear because of the color of his skin is insane to me. And he can't even get justice right now because the guy that shot him was a former DA, so there's like conflict of interest. Like, this is insane, and as Americans, we should be embarrassed by this.
Exactly. But honestly, Addie, going off of what you said, I feel like we hear the conflict of interest card a lot when it comes to, you know, people of color being innocent, like they're innocent and like being brutally murdered. And I just feel like in this situation, it just like, it comes down to the fact that I can't even say that, you know, the McMichaels like intentions were good, because I'm like, first of all, it was a robbery suspect. It wasn't a serial killer, you know? So the use of the shotgun, I feel like, was very unnecessary for that even to be their first incident. Also, I'm very positive that police always are like, please call us, never go after a suspect on your own. So the fact that, and I mean, like you said, he was a former DA, retired DA, so I'm like, I'm not surprised that he felt the need to like go off and do that on his own, but I'm just like, why does this happen all the time?
Well,
once again, I feel like we can see that nothing will probably be done about it, which is just what makes it so much more frustrating, you know?
Well, they were trying to make a citizen's arrest, and they were getting mad because they were trying to take the shotgun. It's like, honey, if somebody was coming at me with a shotgun, I would try to do everything I can.
Me too. I wouldn't, especially when you have no idea why someone's doing that. Like, obviously, he was doing nothing wrong. He was going for a jog. He was probably so confused. He was probably like, why did these people just walk up to me with a shotgun?
Well, and the thing is like, there's still, like, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, like, Emmett Till, he never received justice because, like, the jury was an all-white jury, and back in 1955, I mean, obviously, they're going to side with, like, the white people, and by now, because he's a former DA and there's a bunch of conflict of interest because he's, like, worked with all these people, it means, like, when are people of color going to be able to, like, get justice? Because this is ridiculous, and it's the 21st century, and this still happens.
Exactly. Luke, do you have any?
Now, yeah, McMichael and his son, their key argument is that they think that he was the suspect of a robbery, but the video clearly shows him in just like a t-shirt and shorts jogging, which is not exactly the attire of a person who's going to rob a house. And they're just waiting on the top of the street, just like waiting for him while he's jogging towards them. And it just looks like a murder in cold blood.
Yeah.
I agree, because even if they thought it was, like, just thinking it was the suspect of a robbery that's not enough to go chase him down with a shotgun.
Exactly. And they said it was self-defense, but I'm like, self-defense is reaching for someone's gun now. I'm pretty sure self-defense is if he pulled the gun on them first, but he didn't. He just tried to get the gun away from McMichael's son, which I'm like, literally, I would do the same thing. But all I'm gonna say is I bet I probably wouldn't get killed for it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave out that. But like you said, Addie, it's really terrible that we are in the 21st century and this stuff just happens, and I feel like it just happens too much. Like we just had so many years of this, and it breaks my heart. Well, thank you guys all for being here and for tuning in. And remember, T-Wolfpack, there's always time to chat. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Ella, and thank you to the Pack Chat. Have you been feeling unrestful and stir-crazy during quarantine? Well, our reporter, Brody Bush, has prepared a segment just for you to ease that tension in your life. Brody?
What's up, Cedar Park? Today, I want to talk to you about two things that I think are really important when you're feeling kind of crazy, like a lot of us are during these trying times, and that's the practice of meditation and mindfulness. So, if you will, I'd like you to sit down and just try meditating with me for a quick minute, that's all. Normally, I like to do 15 minutes just because it's short and easy to do, but for the sake of the video, we're only going to be doing 1 minute. So, find a comfortable sitting position, and then whenever you're ready, close your eyes, and we will begin. So the most important part about meditation is focusing on your breathing. So make sure to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And focusing on your breathing will really help clear your mind and get you centered, which is what meditation is all about. So while you're meditating, you will inevitably have thoughts that pop up, and what you want to do with those thoughts is you just want to let them flow on by you. Don't try to fight the thoughts, they're completely natural, but you have a river flowing through your mind, and you just want to let the thoughts flow by whenever they pop up. And keep focusing on your breathing. That will be extremely beneficial. And another helpful thing you can do while you're meditating is try to feel the inside of your body. And it sounds kind of weird, but here, minute's up. But another just helpful tip, start off small, like with a finger, and just try to feel inside of that finger while you're focusing on your breathing. Really take the time to dig through the skin and feel what's inside of your body. And it sounds strange, but it really does help clear the mind and get rid of a lot of negative emotions and center you in the universe. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you're staying sane and safe out there. So I love you. Goodbye.
Wow, I'll have to try that sometime, Ella.
Yes, just watching Brody makes me feel enlightened. Thanks, Brody. And now for a special hype video.
We used to have it all, but now's our curtain call. So hold for the applause, oh, oh, oh. And wave out to the crowd and take our final bow. Oh, it's our time to go, but at least we stole the show. 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 At least we stole the show.
And now it's time for your Pet of the Week. This is Ethan Hexter's parrot, Cassiopeia, also known as just Cassie. He is about 1 year and 3 months old, although his family isn't entirely sure about when he hatched. Cassie loves chewing on Ethan's dog tag and sitting on his head. He can even make R2-D2 sounds, although Ethan has yet to catch it on video. He absolutely hates fruit and veggies and always refuses to eat it.
That's all we have for you this week.
Don't forget, you can catch anything you missed from today's show on our YouTube channel. Just search CPHS News.
And thank you for tuning in and sticking with us. We know these are difficult times. With CPHS News, I'm Ella Neal.
And I'm Evan Vines. Remember to make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. Have a phenomenal day, Cedar Park.